The Impact of Autonomous Vehicles: One Giant Leap Towards a Better World by Ciara Tetreault. Are you a young adult, fresh out of college looking for the first car that you'll pay for completely on your own? Then this is the video for you. Please take a few minutes to watch and see what impact you can make on the world around you simply with your choice of car. Through my research, I concluded that there is an overall positive effect from autonomous vehicles. You might be wondering, what are the positives? There are economic, environmental, and public safety positives related to autonomous vehicles. Now, what are the negatives? I concluded that the two main negatives are people's difficulty to accept autonomous vehicles and the difficulty of integrating chargers into our world. This is the world we live in. People doing normal tasks and driving gas-powered cars. But have you ever stopped to wonder if these gas-powered cars are really hurting our world more than bringing us happiness? These cars give off harmful amounts of pollutants into the air, and the risk of hitting an innocent pedestrian is high. Autonomous vehicles are the solution to these problems. First, I will go over the economic impact that autonomous vehicles have. The cost of integrating autonomous vehicles into our world and changing how roads work to communicate with autonomous vehicles is a lot. For example, finding places to put charging stations and creating those chargers takes a decent amount of money. The average cost of an EV charging station is about $6,000, but that does not include the kilowatts per hour or the cost of the land. But these are worries more for the cities and the government. Your worry is what will an autonomous vehicle cost you. Because they include newer types of technology, autonomous vehicles will be more expensive. But comparing the cost of gas to the cost of electricity, the average cost in a U.S. household is about 12 cents per kilowatt per hour, which is about $20.60 a month to charge an EV, while the average cost of gas per month is $250. That is an average savings of $228.04 per month, which is about $2,740.08 per year. Here's a graph of how these vehicles could save the U.S. money by 2050, including public benefits and consumer benefits. The total benefits would be about $796 billion. Now that is a lot of money. Let's talk about the environmental impacts. We all know about the carbon emissions that gas-powered cars give off. These emissions are damaging our world, specifically the atmosphere around our Earth. The beauty of autonomous vehicles is that they will be EV-powered and will not give off harmful CO2 gases like our current vehicles do. One type of futuristic gas is using hydrogen. This first graph shows just how harmful our cars are today and how every 5 years they become more harmful. This is because of the number of vehicles increases every year. For example, back in 2016, for the first time ever, there were over 70 million cars produced in a single year. This pie chart is another way to view the major contributors to the impact of CO2 productions. You can see that cars are way up on the list. The third bar graph shows the potential reductions with the introduction of autonomous vehicles. In 2050, if we keep using the same type of cars, the CO2 production increases by 1.5 gigatons. But if we transition to using autonomous vehicles, that amount reduces by about 80%. This is because autonomous vehicles do not require gasoline or petroleum distillate, but instead require electricity or another safer form of power. Last, but certainly not least, the public safety impacts. One of the biggest worries is integrating safety procedures into the autonomous vehicle system. The hardest part of introducing autonomous vehicles into our world is something called the trolley problem. For this problem, a person has to decide if a trolley hits one person or a few different people, or if it hits a grandmother or a child. It is a set of different ethical problems that every person thinks through differently. So, what would an autonomous vehicle choose? To hit a baby or slam on the brakes and potentially injure its passengers? This dilemma is currently being studied, and solutions are being created. For example, a lab in China is taking fatal crashes with pedestrians and inputting that data into their autonomous vehicles so that they can review ways to avoid what happened. The technology being implanted into the autonomous vehicles makes it way safer than current human-driven vehicles. The 360-degree view cameras and sensors, plus radar sensors, odometry sensors, and a LiDAR, makes sure the vehicle can see and hear everything around it. In current cars, there are plenty of blind spots, which reduce the driver's ability to see around them. In the US, there are over 800,000 blind spot accidents that occur each year. The autonomous vehicle's ability to communicate with other AVs also decreases the number of crashes because they are able to avoid each other and other crashes. AVs are safer for the driver, other vehicles nearby, and pedestrians than current gas-powered cars because of the technology being integrated into them. People are always afraid of change, especially when they cannot physically see the impacts that something will have. This is why people are so afraid of autonomous vehicles. Everyone likes to have control, and the older generations are definitely less likely to be completely accepting of this change because all they have known is driving their own vehicles. Younger generations are more open to change because they have seen this idea of an autonomous vehicle since they started driving, and they are more open to electronic change because that is their whole world. The technology is already made and is just being refined by scientists and researchers. The world must first learn to accept the evolution of cars in the autonomous direction because the scientists and engineers know how to implement the rest. It is clear that autonomous cars do come with economic, personal, and environmental benefits. Some say that the cost of creating an environment where an autonomous vehicle can operate and communicate with its surroundings is too costly, not worth the benefits, and creates more harm than good. Some believe that the large changes in costs needed to create this type of environment will make it safer, more efficient, and better for the world and economy. The bigger question is, what do you think? Do you want to change our world for the better? Make a positive impact on the world around you and buy an autonomous vehicle.